FIFA President Gianni Infantino is facing formal ethics complaints, and Norway is the only federation willing to file them. Lise Klaveness, the president of the Norwegian Football Federation, has formally backed an ethics complaint against Infantino, and according to an interview with The Times published July 23rd, she is now moving to file a second one. FIFA has 211 member associations, the national governing bodies that run the sport worldwide. Exactly one of them is doing this. So, let's talk about what she says he did, and why nobody else will stand next to her. Start with December 5th, 2025, at the Kennedy Center in Washington. Infantino presents Donald Trump with something FIFA had never handed out before: the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize, a gold trophy, a commemorative medal, and a line from the FIFA president that now sits inside a formal complaint. "You can always count, Mr. President, on my support." 3 days later, a London-based human rights group called Fair Square files an 8-page complaint with FIFA's Ethics Committee. It names Infantino specifically. It alleges he breached Article 15 of FIFA's own Code of Ethics, the rule requiring political neutrality, across 4 separate instances of publicly backing Trump's policies. And it asks a question FIFA has still not answered. Was that Peace Prize created by the FIFA Council, or did Infantino invent it and hand it out on his own? Fair Square's wording is blunt. If he acted alone, they call it an egregious abuse of power. Now, hold on, because that is an allegation, not a finding. No body has ruled on any of this, and Infantino has denied wrongdoing throughout. 6 months later, Norway signs on. The Federation writes to the Ethics Committee around June 1st, formally supporting the complaint. Klaveness confirms it at a press conference on June 2nd, right before her team leaves for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And she does not sound like someone testing the water. Her words, "It is sent, and that is checked off." She promises to request meetings and build momentum the moment the tournament ends. Then the tournament hands her something better than momentum. It hands her a second case. July 1st. The United States men's national team striker Folarin Balogun is sent off against Bosnia and Herzegovina for a foul on Tariq Muharemovic. A straight red card, meaning he is thrown out of that game and automatically suspended for the next one. No appeal needed, no discretion. That is the rule. 4 days later, on July 5th, FIFA's disciplinary committee suspends that ban. Balogun is free to play the round of 16 against Belgium. The United States loses 4-1 in Seattle anyway. Here is the part that turns a refereeing argument into a governance crisis. Trump publicly acknowledged phoning Infantino to ask for a review. The Guardian reported he made 3 calls. And per The Times, the decision to wipe the suspension was taken solely by the FIFA Disciplinary Committee's chairman, Mohammed Al-Kamali, without consulting the other members of his own committee. Think about that for a second. One official, no committee vote, and it lands 4 days after a head of state picks up the phone. To be precise, because this matters, nobody has proven the call caused the decision. Snopes actually declined to rate the claim at all, because what was said on that call has never been made public. Infantino's statement on July 6th insists FIFA's judicial bodies are independent, that they decide cases on the regulations and the facts in front of them, and that he told the president the matter would be decided in due course by the competent bodies. FIFA then rejected an appeal from Belgium as inadmissible, saying the Belgian Federation had no standing to complain. But the reaction outside FIFA was not subtle. UEFA, the governing body for European soccer, the one that runs the Champions League, said the decision crossed a red line and called it incomprehensible and unjustifiable. UEFA President Alexander Seferin put the organization's full institutional weight behind that statement, making this a direct and public rupture between the 2 most powerful governing bodies in the sport. And then the sharpest line of the whole affair arrives from a man who knows exactly how FIFA works, because he ran it for 17 years. Sepp Blatter, the president the 2015 scandal took down. His verdict? Red cards are not overturned by political phone calls. They are overturned by rules, evidence, and independent bodies. When Sepp Blatter is the one lecturing you about process, you have a problem. So, who is Lise Klaveness, and why her? She played 73 times for Norway and finished runner-up at the 2005 European Championship. She is also a trained lawyer who worked as an assistant judge in Oslo District Court. That is the detail people keep missing. She reads the statutes for a living. In 2022, she stood up at the FIFA Congress in Doha with Qatar's Prime Minister feet away and said the 2010 World Cup was awarded in unacceptable ways with unacceptable consequences. FIFA had tried to keep that speech off the main agenda. Klaveness told The Times she will take the Balogun case to her board on August 6th. Her language: when you bend a rule like this, you are on a slippery slope that will put the whole game at risk. She says the verdict was influenced from external forces and did not have proper process, and she wants FIFA's leader to admit it was an error. Here is where it turns, and here is why the title says the nightmare continues rather than the nightmare ends. FIFA has done nothing, not denied it, not dismissed it, not investigated it. As of July 14th, Fair Square says the Ethics Committee's investigatory chamber acknowledged receiving the complaint and has provided no further information since. 7 months of total procedural silence. No probe opened, no case closed. And the committee that would have to act? Its members are appointed through the FIFA Congress on the recommendation of the FIFA Council, the same body it might have to investigate. Governance watchdog play the game. Documents that back in 2017, at the Congress in Bahrain, FIFA removed its own independent ethics chairs, Cornel Borbeli and Hans-Joachim Eckert, the two people whose entire job was to hold the organization accountable, along with governance chief Miguel Maduro. All three called their removals political. That same committee cleared Infantino in 2020 over a separate affair. On paper, a neutrality breach carries a fine of at least 10,000 Swiss francs and a ban of up to 2 years. In practice, most observers expect nothing, or a warning. Because look at the arithmetic. Infantino announced at the FIFA Congress in Vancouver on May 1st that he is running again. Reporting indicates more than 200 of the 211 members have already signed letters supporting him. He is likely to run unopposed at the March 18th, 2027 FIFA Congress in Rabat, Morocco. And Klaveness has said plainly that she is not a candidate for the job. This is not a coup. She is not after his chair. 200 of 211, one federation filing complaints. And her closest allies left her out there. Germany, the largest federation in the world, whose president sits on the FIFA Council, declined to co-sign. So did England. So did the Netherlands. Klaveness says other federations offered support privately, but that Norway sent the letter alone, and that she saw no point pressuring anyone because it would only create friction. She has also said there is no doubt the letter is perceived as problematic coming from a member association. Read that again. Not wrong. Problematic. So ask yourself what a complaint is worth when the accused controls the calendar, the committee appointments, and 200 of the 211 votes. And all of this lands on top of a tournament already taking on water. Demand-based ticket pricing at a World Cup for the first time, with resale listings for the final reportedly around $2.3 million. Infantino joked at a conference that he would personally deliver a hot dog to anyone who paid it. Then FIFA introduced a $60 entry tier after the backlash. Football Supporters Europe called the pricing a monumental betrayal. FIFPro, the global players' union, says 19% of the tournament's matches were played at heat levels, where it recommends postponement, including a Miami quarterfinal that kicked off feeling like 113 degrees. A Somali referee was denied entry to the United States. Iran's squad received visas roughly 10 days out. And the governance questions extend beyond this tournament. FIFA's decision to award the 2034 World Cup to Saudi Arabia drew similar criticism from Klaveness and other reformers about the integrity of the bidding process. And on July 19th at MetLife Stadium, when Trump and Infantino walked out to hand Spain the trophy after beating Argentina, the crowd booed both of them. None of this is 2015. and that deserves saying out loud. In 2015, Swiss police were arresting officials in a Zurich hotel, and 41 people and entities ended up charged. There are no criminal charges here, no proven wrongdoing. What there is a single federation, a lawyer running it, and 2 complaints that FIFA will not touch. The board meets on August 6th. The Congress votes on March 18th, 2027. Between those 2 dates, we find out whether one voice out of 211 counts for anything at all.